Hello, lady.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is What the Word for March 12th, 2024. My name is Bernie Burns. With me, sitting right over there, is a lady who is dabbling in Photoshop editing. Ashley Burns, how you doing? So yesterday, and I get it, I get why they said it, but yesterday people were commenting that when I said the date yesterday, March 11th, 2024, that it sounded edited in. It wasn't, but I get why they say that, because it does sound like that. And then I was thinking about that as I went to say this date, and then I flubbed this date, and I want to go back and fix it, but I won't.
Make it a tradition.
I will let it live as it is in the moment. Well, Kate Middleton, Princess Kate, has resurfaced-ish because she put out a statement, right, Ash, that she was the person who edited the photo of her and her kids.
Supposedly, Bernie. Supposedly. Look, it was posted on, I believe, Instagram. She said, sorry, I was dabbling in editing. I didn't mean to cause all this kerfuffle. Sorry about that. But now everyone's like, because of this conspiracy, she hasn't been seen. Where is she? Until they like trot her out in person and she's waving off a balcony or something, people are going to continue to be like, but is it really her?
Even if she waves.
Did she write? Yeah, I know. Then they're like, no, she's been replaced. But yeah, so theoretically, supposedly, she put out a correction saying that she did the editing. Honestly, as a mom, I get it. Have you ever tried to get a photo with all your kids where they're all looking, just all looking at the camera, and then no one's blinking and no one's making a funny face?
There was a period of time when digital cameras first came out, because this is one of those things that's lost of time. You used to have this thing where you'd take a photo of people, you had no idea what it looked like. You would have to wait until all the photos on the camera were taken. You would take it into a photo developer, and the really fast ones were an hour, and you would get your photos back, and then you would see them and know if they were good or not.
And you were blinking in all the ones that you wanted to be good.
Clearly, that's an inferior system for just taking random photos. So when digital cameras came on the scene, everyone was really excited, except if you had kids, because there was a period of time where, the pictures were horrible. They were much worse than film cameras.
Oh, God, so grainy.
Yeah.
So tiny and so grainy. If you tried to pull them up on a computer screen now with our current resolutions, they would look like a thumbnail of something.
Right.
And you try to zoom in, no, too bad.
They were also slow. So you'd go to take a picture of a kid, you'd hit the button, and I'm not kidding, like a second later, they would take a photo. So taking photos of kids was impossible. I have so many photos of JD and Teddy where they're just blurs, either their face or their body or their arms, and it was just terrible.
Even current technology, I was trying to take a picture of Evie last night because she was being really cute, snuggling with a blanket, and I was going to send it to her grandpa, who gave her the blanket. And all I have is blurs, and this is with today's technology, because little kids are always moving. So I can absolutely see where, as a mom, especially for this Mother's Day photo, and you feel like there's a lot of pressure to be, the perfect mom to the perfect kids, you're going to try and get like the best picture of each of them and the best picture of you and stitch them together, right?
And you don't think you have to be a mom or a parent to appreciate this. Like, there was a woman who just went viral recently because of a photo that was out there, and it just wasn't a great photo of her. It was the actress who played an Oompa Loompa in the Willy Wonka virtual experience.
The not Willy Wonka event thing that happened in Glasgow. We talked about this on a previous episode. Her name, by the way, she's talked about this a little bit since. Her name's Kirsty Patterson. She's very funny.
Kirsty or Christy?
Kirsty.
Kirsty, gotcha.
And she's very lovely, very down to earth. She's talked about it. The poor actors.
By the way, if I may,
you may.
A person from Glasgow is a Glaswegian.
Yes, get that right.
I thought that was interesting because I did not know that. So anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But yeah, she's talked about it since. Man, I feel for everyone involved in that event. So whoever set this event up and sold all the tickets and everything, right? They didn't pay the actors, and the actors are there.
Oh, they didn't get paid?
From what I've heard, no.
I don't know why that would be shocking.
And so then these unpaid actors are there. All these expectant kids and their families turn up, and they're just basically left holding the bag, and they're doing their best to give these kids a good experience. And a lot of the photo of that lady is, it sucks because she was like, here's your one jelly bean that we have for you. We're all going to take a photo looking terrible as we're handing out single jelly beans to little kids. Like, that sucks.
It's a lot to overcome. And I have to say, sometimes sometimes the hive mind of the internet is used for good. And in this case, people were having a great time tearing down this event from afar. And yeah, it was probably justified. But the photo that kept getting used was the photo of her looking sad at her station, dressed as an Oompa Loompa. But as people investigated it more, they found more photos. And clearly, Kirsty was putting in a phenomenal effort to try to recover this and make sure the kids had as good a time as they possibly could have. And once people discovered that, I got to say, I was really happy to see that they started using those photos and blasting those photos in all the comments for it, saying, look how much of an effort she put in. So sometimes, you know, it works out best.
It's nice.
She was trying to make, you know, lemonade out of lemons. In this case, a 1/4 cup of lemonade.
But look, you do what you can.
I love, and you have to appreciate people who are going to go and make that effort and do it. And I'm glad to see when the internet rewards that. It does remind me of something I just saw the other day, which was Sam Reich, who is the guy he runs the Dropout Network. You familiar with Dropout?
Yeah, that was College Humor, right?
Yeah, it was College Humor, and then College Humor from their parent company, they got taken all the way down to I think they got taken down to one employee in the whole company. And then Sam got hold of it. I think Sam was the one employee, I think. And built it back up into what it is now. This incredible Dropout's doing phenomenally well. And recently there was a movement among his fans because they discovered that Sam's Wikipedia article photo of him is not the best photo. So they made an effort to go out and find the best possible photo of Sam to put in his Wikipedia article. And I thought, what's that like? Because I know how that would have worked for me, where they would have been like, oh, here's a good photo of Bernie. That's right. And then Jeff would have been providing them with worse photos, making sure to sabotage in whatever way he can. And yeah, they would have put and blasted it everywhere they possibly could.
Oh, yeah. Put up the weirdest photo of you. And anytime you try and put up a new, nicer photo, nope, straight back to the old one.
Must be nice.
Never get out from under it.
But those photos, you don't control that stuff. And there's no way to change it. I guess if people who have PR reps, I guess those people work that angle and know how to do that stuff. I wouldn't even know how to do that.
I think the other catch with Wikipedia is that they need to be Creative Commons. So basically, if you take a photo and upload it to Wikipedia of someone, you're basically saying anyone can use this on, it's a common Creative Commons license.
Uh-huh.
So you can't just use any PR photo. You can't just upload a photo from Getty's or something like that to someone's Wikipedia page. You have to, if you want to submit a photo, you're supposed to own the rights and you're giving them up. So getting, good photos that are like that the owner is happy to say, yeah, go ahead, have it, no big deal. That's not as easy.
Yeah.
I guess if we were to upload a selfie, that would be, is that okay? I don't know. I haven't followed the rules of Wikipedia uploads in a long time. But that might be the other catch is all the good ones, copyright.
Yeah, it's a weird thing too, because sometimes when you're really close with an audience, and I think there was definitely periods of time where we were really close with the audience, sometimes there's a weird side effect that happens from that. And there's one example in particular that I think of where there was this guy on the internet who was a self-described Rooster Teeth fan. And I think it's fair that if you describe yourself that way, we can also assume that you're probably a fan of the people that make that. And this guy got to be a Wikipedia admin or editor. I don't know how those things work. And very specifically, Gus. He went into Gus's Wikipedia article and removed it and he put the reason up. I hope I'm not saying anything negative. I'm not trying to say anything negative about Gus here. He was saying that Gus was not a relevant figure to have his own Wikipedia page. And it was so strange because the guy knew Gus enough to go look for the article. And then because he knew who Gus was, he determined that Gus wasn't relevant, which is such a weird thing to say. If he wasn't relevant, why would he have gone to look at his article? And it was restored and everything, but I just thought, what a strange, mental pathway to follow. And the conclusion he reached, because he felt I guess he knew Gus, he didn't think Gus should have an article.
And he felt like I am the judge I'm judgment here.
Yeah, but
I get to decide.
I'm sure there's thousands of people who have Wikipedia articles at Gus's level of celebrity that he doesn't go look at them because they're not relevant to him. But because Gus was relevant to him, he went and looked at his article and said, oh, no, I know. This is Gus.
It's just Gus.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
That's a strange relationship. Okay, well, let's get away from the subject because the other weird thing is if you talk about this, people that aren't even aware of these kinds of things will then go, oh, I'll go do that because it'll be funny. And
okay.
Trust me, it's not funny if you do that kind of stuff.
Let's not add to the dry sound. You know,
that's it. That's exactly it.
No. Okay. Well, something that's much more fun to talk about is fun, sad, a shame. The Apple car we talked about previously has been canceled. They dropped after about 10 years in development. It was something like $10 billion had been put into R&D on this Apple car. They canceled it. And now we're sort of getting a look at what the car might have been. And it looks cool. And I can see why they didn't move forward with it.
You know what's weird about this is the Apple car, the biggest product that never came out. Like people can talk about it. Like I'm trying to think of anything else that was in development for a long time, was supposed to come out. People were excited about it. And then it just went, nah, we're just not coming out. Here's
the thing, though. If you look at that car wouldn't, even now, it wouldn't be on the road for another 5-10 years, if at all. They might be seeing, because this was supposed to be a level 5 autonomous car, which means it wasn't going to have controls for people. It was never meant to be driven.
I think that's cool as hell. It's really weird. I got associated very heavily with my car, and I am not a car person. If you could put me in a pod that just takes me where I want to go, I am completely fine with that. Oh, did you read the article about? Are you done talking about Apple cars?
Yeah. I just I will put a link to the article if you want to see the Apple cars in the link dump, and you'll look at it and you'll go, oh yeah, this would have been 5-10 years minimum before it was even on the road. And I can see why they might have just decided, we don't actually know if autonomous cars are going to be allowed. We're just going to not keep sinking money into this.
Yeah.
But it is really cool to look at it as a what might have been.
You know, what might have been, yeah. So the only other car, sorry, that was I had a plastic bottle here and I squeezed it and it like slowly over time relaxed itself. The only other thing with cars that I ever was interested in was Peugeot, or as they say here in the UK, Peugeot. I don't know why they say Peugeot. They put out a car called the Hogger. Do you remember this?
No.
It's crazy.
Hogger?
Yeah, they put out a prototype, concept car of the Peugeot Hoggar, spelled with an A.
Oh, Hogggar.
Yeah. And it looks like a warthog from Halo.
It looks like a ute.
No. That's what came out, was a ute. Somehow look up concept on that and you'll see it looks just like a Halo Warthog, but like a futuristic one.
Yeah, we'll link this concept in the link dump because I'm looking at it right now and it does look, I can see why it didn't come out, but it looks cool.
It looks badass. And then they turned it into a El Camino crossed with a ute, is what eventually the Hogger name became. Yeah.
Weird how those properties are like what they use the name for shifts.
But there's a wild story that's in the news while we're talking about cars, where a billionaire in Texas, she recently died because her Tesla Model X ended up in a pond. And this is a really, really specific thing. The rescuers couldn't get her out of the car because the Tesla windows are strengthened to the point where they are almost impossible to break when they're underwater.
Specifically when they're underwater.
That's a really specific thing. And I have to research this more. This would be a great topic for Follow-Up Friday. But yeah, she died, and she's being called out very frequently in the articles as the sister-in-law of Mitch McConnell, who is now retiring from Congress. I believe her name is Angela Chow. Is that right? And also, it's like, because she's a billionaire who died, people are, of course, going out of their way to point out the karma of the fact that she was on a transportation safety board at one point, and she could have solved this problem for herself. I don't know that you're going to solve the problem of a window that is impossible to break while it's underwater. But how do people know that? Like, how did
well,
they know
also, specifically, in general use, strengthened glass would be a good thing.
that? In general, yeah, probably. We have those little hammers in our car, little orange hammers, so we can break the windows and they can cut the seatbelts.
Yeah, just in case. It's like a little hammer with a knife attached to it that just lives in the glove box.
So if you're looking for a life hack today, maybe just put one of those in your Amazon cart for next time, and buy yourself a little emergency hammer that you can get to in a heartbeat. One of the interesting things about the Tesla is one of the only physical buttons in the entire car is to open the glove box, because I guess there's some kind of rule that your hazard lights and your glove box can't be electronic. They can't be on a screen somewhere.
The hazard lights I get. The glove box I'm not as sure about, but I'm sure that there's some sort of like obscure or, reason that makes total sense that I just haven't really thought about. That happens a lot.
Well, and this is be another one. We'll do this on Follow Up Friday as well, because we're going a little bit long here. But I would like to talk about, too, the EU has started to raise a fuss. And when they start to raise a fuss about consumer products, you should probably pay attention, because they do have a massive effect on the way that consumer products are delivered to people. I'm going to put this bottle away.
I mean, look at Apple. They are now USB-C because the EU is making them be USB-C.
Making them be USB-C, eh?
Wow. Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
But also they like the way we handle cookies and tracking and all that. A lot of that stuff came out of the EU. You know what their new target is, Ash? Their new target is physical buttons on products, and specifically in cars. They're trying to move people away from now this idea of going to just a giant tablet that's in modern cars, where you have to like watch the tablet and tap on things in order to change, and even like flip screens. They're analyzing like, how does that impact safety overall in a car? It is kind of a weird thing to be analyzing at this point in time, because who knows how long we've got left with people driving cars. But yeah, it could be some point in the future where we go back to hard physical buttons and knobs for things inside of cars.
I can see that for some things. I will say that we have two cars. One car has a touchscreen, and the other car does not have a touchscreen. It has a knob and arrow buttons, essentially, that you control the screen with. And I will say that I find it much easier to do minor adjustments on the vehicle on the touchscreen than I do with the knob. So I could see a combination where you have a touchscreen, but then car settings, maybe heater, maybe car specific things, not entertainment things, or physical buttons. But for controlling entertainment, I find that I'm able to do it much, much easier in the car with the touchscreen without having to fiddle around as much, because that knob is just so many more steps to get the same thing done.
Yeah, or like when you turn the heated seat up to frying pan level, and then I have to get into it after you. Yeah.
You're welcome. You get toasty buns.
All right, what else is going on in the news today? We talked about missing cars. We talked about missing princesses.
Well, speaking of cars and things, I have a complaint.
Uh-oh.
I have a complaint about our child. This is about our 4-year-old. Bernie, he stole my Spotify algorithm.
It's your fault.
And it's because, so I've been, while you were away, I was, driving him to school every morning. He has very specific music requests.
Oh my God, he's like a DJ.
He has his favorite playlist. And whenever a song comes on he hasn't heard that he likes, he's like, Mom, can you please add this to my playlist? Or there'll be things on his playlist and he wants them skipped and so on. So he really DJs his way through the entire drive to school and back. And he has done so with such consistency that my Spotify algorithm, I've talked about this before, the day lists and things they have, that it figures out what you listen to at this time of day and will recommend more things to you like that. He screwed up my algorithm, and now it's recommending, it's like summer camp indie rock or pump up hockey morning. And I'm like, I don't want hockey morning. I'm going to have to listen to some aggressively weird shit to like reclaim my ethereal, witchy, paranormal mage music, because instead I'm getting, pump up field hockey Tuesday. And I'm bothered. I'm bothered.
Listen. I live in a house where we have 4 people, and there's 2 children, a mom and a dad. And the 2 children seem to have inherited all of the stubbornness of the mother and none of the patience and compliability of the father. And so when you complain about them, all I have to say is you did this. You did this. These kids, we have a 1-year-old who is just the most stubborn thing on the planet. All comes from you. All comes from you.
All from me, huh? I'm sure that's the case. You've never been stubborn in your life.
How dare you? How dare you? I'm a sweet little butterfly. All right. Well, that does it for us today, March 12th, 2024. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you will be here as well.
Bye, everybody.